one place I kind of go to war with is what I deem the pumpers, the guys who are consistently calling for triple digit silver.
Welcome back, Slacker.
I mean, it wasn't that difficult. Hold on, let me bring up our screen again here. No. What's up, man? Hey, I'm sorry I missed you last week.
Our anniversary episode.
I know. Of all
good, man.
Of all episodes, we go 51
with
weeks
Andy
break.
Freaking Scheckman. It's all good, man. It's all good.
I was behind the scenes. You didn't see me.
You set the whole thing up, man. It was all you.
I tried.
So we got something on Friday. You guys are probably watching this on a Thursday.
Definitely on a Thursday. What's today? Yeah, today's the 3rd. So you're watching it the 5th.
Yep. So on Friday, we're going to be giving away this sucker right here. So let's take a close up of that. We finally pounded out the back of it. Came out.
I know. I did a lot of work on that. I was.
I mean, I was hoping I'd have your stamp, bro, but I don't know where it is. But here we go. This is the 5-ounce wood poured piece right here, made by yours truly, and that's going to be given away to one of you lucky folks.
We got a winner. We got a winner, but who's it going to be? You got to tune in Friday as well. Sorry.
Oh yeah, we got something big for today, right, Paul?
We do. We have, well, what is spot price? Because when I text you the title of this episode, you were like, man, that's going to be great. And then what happened? Bam. Yeah, we drop out. We drop out again. What do we, it's got to be 24.90,
something like that. Yeah. Like, I don't know. It's one of those things where like a deer farts in Africa and all of a sudden spot price goes down $8. So.
Right.
You're listening to the Crucible, folks.
Hey, welcome to episode 53. I'm Paulie. Let's bring up our guest today. He is a bullion dealer out of Texas, of all places, and I'm curious what the temperature's like there. I slide you over. What's happening, man? Jake from Hero Bullion. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. We got our first rain here in the DFW area in quite some time, so it's welcome. It's been kind of drizzling all day. We'll take whatever we can get, but yeah. Other than that, it's hot. It's consistently hot, and
but how's the humidity? But how's the humidity? Is what I got to find out, because here it's like, well, it's not so bad, but it's the gosh darn humidity always.
I'll just say we have plenty. We got plenty to go. We could send some your way. That's no problem.
No thanks.
Oh, we got plenty. I'm in the Carolinas, so we're good.
Man. God, we shouldn't be talking then.
If I could find somewhere with 65 and sunny and like 35 to 40,
not California.
Not California for sure. So no.
That's all you
got.
There
are spots there where it's like 70, 75 all year, but that's not for me. No thanks.
Cool, man. Well, thanks for being on the show. Welcome.
Thanks for the invite, guys. I've been watching your show. Man,
we caught you watching the Heidi episode.
That's right. Heidi. I love Heidi. Worked with her many times over the years. She's a phenomenal artist. Obviously, I respect what she's done in this space. And especially in particular, I think one of the questions I asked you was about the CCAC. That's something that I really think she busted open the door there on that. And so it's something that, I mean, like, you can't help but root for her, right?
Right.
For real.
It was cool meeting her. I met her in Chicago and we chatted for a little while. Then we walked around the coin show for a little while, and yeah, it was fun. It was a cool.
Yeah. So I've been stalking your channel. I catch your episodes as I can, and particularly when you guys have people that I know personally on the show, or that I've dealt with, let's say, maybe never met face to face. There's a lot of that in this business.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've enjoyed your shows, and obviously I love what you guys are doing. So I was honored to be here.
Thanks,
Very
man.
cool. Very cool. We appreciate it. So why don't we start off with, for those listening and have no clue what Hero Bullion is, or who you are, or what your business is all about, just give us a quick rundown about Hero Bullion.
Hero Bullion, we were formed in February of 2020. So if you were paying attention, you know what happened obviously in March of 2020. It was a really disruptive time for every industry, ours included. And it was incredible launching a company during COVID. You know, you can't think you can't prepare for those types of things that we went through very early on. Crazy periods of time when it comes to volatility in the spot metals price. I think we saw $13 silver right when we were right when we were launching. But it, while Hero Bullion might be new to a lot of people, we're not new to the bullion space. I've been trading online precious metals since 2009 and wholesale before that, even as far back as about 1998. It's been my life's mission to help as many people as I can. And part of that is because I'm a believer too. Yeah. I drink my own Kool-Aid. I've been a stacker. I had a paper route when I was 9 years old. On my paper route, coincidentally, was a coin store. And so every time when I delivered the paper, I'd flip through the cases and see what they had there. And I got hooked. I got the bug with coins, peace dollars, Morgan dollars, all those types of things. Way back when I was young, when I was 18, I ended up working for a pretty substantial sized coin dealer out of the Midwest, and didn't know what I was experiencing in terms of the magnitude of the volume of product that I was seeing. But it was kind of a crash course, just, drinking from a fire hose when it comes to the rare coins. And so that's where my base was. In 2006, I had a wholesale company with a couple other buddies. And then in 2009, we launched a company called Provident Metals. So you can still go to providentmetals.com. It was myself and two others, and in whole, a bigger group of guys that launched that company. And that was a wild, awesome, exciting ride. And so since then, I left Provident, and now in 2020, I felt like I still had a lot to give to the space. This is, people ask what would you do if you never had to work another day in your life, right? This is it for me. I love this.
Cool.
This is
nice.
I love showing up to work every day and just getting to play coins, as we say, right? So
that's awesome.
So yeah, obviously Hero Bullion. We focus more on bullion than the rare coins. I'm trying to introduce more rare coins and collectibles into our catalog, and that's a little bit the way I want to do it. I'm trying to do it right. So it's taking a little bit of time for us. We have added plenty of collectibles and even some rare coins, but you're going to see that continue with us. The name Hero Bullion, it just comes from the fact that pretty much everyone that I've dealt with over the course of my career feels like they know something that other people don't know.
Right.
And so we as stackers, let's say, we have like this, you don't want everyone to know that you have gold and silver, but you want to tell everyone about gold and silver, right?
Yes.
Because
sure.
and so I think there's a bit of a charge there to us that know this, like, hey, we have to share this with people. And that's a big part of the mission here. The world needs more heroes. And that's where this customer or this, the stacking community is. I see the stackers as heroes. And so we're here to serve those people. And, that's a big part of what we talk about every single day here at Hero Bullion, is just helping as many people as we can, change their life in a lot of ways. I've been a lifetime stacker. The capital to start Hero Bullion was from my personal stack. I don't think there's a lot of people that can say that. I did the typical, liquidate the 401k, all that kind of stuff. We went all in on this thing on Hero Bullion, but a big chunk of that was just, even back to when I was a teenager, some of the products that I had, I put them straight into our inventory, and so that was sold in the early months of the company, and we've just continued to roll it over. So now we're, Hero Bullion, now that we're 4 years old, we celebrated a move to a new facility here. We have a beautiful new facility. The team's worked really hard to get us into this spot, and it's going to allow us to serve even more people at a crazy rate that it's been a goal of ours for the whole 4 years now to get into a new facility where we can really take care of people just like the big boys do.
Sure.
That's awesome. So
Sure.
when you were at Provident Metal, is that when you first linked up with Heidi? So there was the creative director at Provident Metals and myself. I was driving down to Florida and we were kind of brainstorming. I was
I was just in the car and like, man, I was a big fan of The Walking Dead at the time. I said, why hasn't anybody done a zombie series?
Right.
And then it was kind of like, yeah, someone should do a zombie series. Hang up the phone. 15 minutes later, he calls me back. Well, what about what can we do this? So I hang up the phone, call back another 10 minutes. Okay, what about this? And so just kind of like a really cool brainstorming session between him and I, and that's where Zombucks came from. Him and I were both the creative director at Provident. We were both big fans of rare coins, vintage US coins. And so we said, why don't we zombify these things?
That's cool.
And so Heidi actually sculpted the very first one, which is the Walker, right? We knew that we had to launch with something really cool. Heidi did that. She did a number of them through that series. And so that was a cool series. She also did the Egyptian gods, which I think you guys hit on when you were on.
Oh, yeah.
When she was on your show.
Yeah, we did.
Egyptian gods was something. Cleopatra was. It was never supposed to be a series, but it came out and it was so popular. We said, okay, how can we add to this? So, Cleopatra, she's technically not a god. Isis is her, she's the incarnation of Isis, potentially, is what some of the mythology says. Isis was on the reverse of that 2-ounce high relief. And so it was continued on with others. And obviously, I don't even know if that series is completed yet. JM Bullion owns that IP. And so I think they're still coming out with issues. They're obviously still
one more.
Oh, she has one more? Okay.
Yep. Yeah. It's funny we're bringing it up because I was actually talking to her just the other day about coming on after all her work is said and done and to talk about the last one.
That would be cool. I'm gonna watch that. Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, I mean, when you think about how long, I think the first one was launched in what I say, 2015, you think maybe Cleopatra, she was launched somewhere circa 2015, let's say, give or take a year. Yeah. That's pretty incredible to have a decade long series like this, especially privately minted.
Yeah.
That's something different. We did some crazy stuff with the Zombucks series. It was one of the first privately minted series that we got NGC to certify with a grade number. That used to not be able to do that. It was strictly monetized coins only.
Right.
And those we got graded. We had a great contact at NGC that helped us with that project. So yeah, that's where I was introduced to Heidi.
So you guys don't do the minting in-house, do you?
No, we do not mint in-house. We do pour. We do have a hand poured line that that we're continually rolling out new products on. And so that's like open mold pouring, Crucible, put the silver grain in there, pour it into the mold and we stamp it. And that for us, that came out of very early on 2020, 2021, it was incredibly hard to find like minted, finished, consumer ready product. And we said, we got to fix this. So way back in the Provident days, I used to pour some silver just out of my barn, just for fun, because I love it. It's cool. And so, and so I took some of that knowledge that I had, and actually some of the equipment that I had from 8 years ago, that I had in my storage unit or whatever, and we brought it out, we dusted it off, and we started making stuff again. So for us, it's kind of a fun, creative outlet. We had a brainstorming session today, so we have some new stuff coming out. But it's open mold, hand poured stuff, not really mass produced. We just something to have fun with here. And the funny thing is, it's fun to sell other people's product, but when you're making the product yourself, when your team is involved in it, just the ownership that comes with that, it's been really cool. And I actually got that. I kind of got that inspiration in a meeting that I had with Germania Mint and Shimon. I don't know if you guys have ever met him, but I had a meeting with him and we talked about it, and I kind of learned his story. And he said he noticed that change too. And I said, well, I mean, I'm an idiot if I don't do this, And so we did do it in-house, and it is something that we own and love. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun for this team.
That's very cool. And so a lot of our viewers know about Hero Bullion. They've purchased from you before. What would you say sets you apart from the other dealers that are out there, the other companies? Yeah, well,
as the company's grown over the last 4 years, the short answer to this is that we value our customers. We treat you like a person. We understand that not everything goes perfectly. We don't take our customers for granted. And, you know, I say that because of the feedback that I've got from our customers. You know, we try to treat people like people. You know, if you have a question, no matter how simple it is, we have someone there for you. Right. One of the things that we do is we work really hard to put experienced and knowledgeable people on the phone. So when you call in, you're not getting a, you know, $18 an hour employee that's just, you know, that's super green. Like we actually invest there with our customers because we understand that people actually need help, and we're here to help. And so you'll see that if you look at our reviews, you know, we have, I think, 18,000 reviews now, 4.9 star rating. And a lot of the comments is so-and-so was helpful. You know, it was so helpful. I got my questions answered quickly. That's a big part of it. The other thing is just the value that we can provide. There's, you know, all these bullion dealers sell 2024 Silver Eagles. Okay. Well, who can get that Silver Eagle to me at the best price, in the best condition, the quickest? We try to compete everywhere. We definitely compete on the price. We definitely compete on the shipping speed. I kind of challenge our team. You know, last weekend was, or rather Monday, yesterday was Labor Day. Yes. So I challenged the team. I said, okay, if someone gets a credit card order in here by 3:30 on Friday, I want it shipped. And they met the challenge, you know, because we understand, like, you ordered maybe at 2:00 on Friday before holiday. It's not going to ship until Tuesday. That's a little bit of a, like, kind of a letdown, right? So a big thing we talk about is just shipping quickly, discreetly, all the things that you're looking for. I've looked at what the big sites have, and, you know, we started taking crypto. That was something that we didn't have until recently. We take Plaid for the e-checks, which is very convenient for people. We take all of the standard payment methods. We have a good selection, priced well. And most importantly, we don't take our customers for granted. And no question is a dumb question here. There's so many new people in this space that are looking for guidance. They're looking at the political landscape. They're looking at their checkbook or their balance in their bank account, and they're saying, whoa, something's wrong here. This system's broken. And so, you know, we know that there's a lot of people out there who are, it's not just the same people, which we love all those people, but the new people, they need help. And so that's what we focus on too.
It's amazing to me. Well, I guess not amazing or surprising. It's just to see it. There's a site called Reddit, and on Reddit, there's a sub-site called like the Silver Bugs or something like that. Yeah. And every single day there are so many pictures of someone saying, this is my first piece of silver. Hey, I just went to a coin store. This is what I picked up. This is the first thing I've ever picked up. Every single day there's so many new customers to be had, or to teach, actually. And with the not crazy, but with spot prices going up and down and breaking records of gold, and yes, it is down a little bit now. Have you seen more demand via your website, and have you been able to keep up with said demand, if there was any more or less?
Yep, we're definitely seeing strong demand. There are a number of different areas that I look at. And so one that comes to mind when you're asking about demand is the big buyers. Okay. Kind of like the whales. There are a lot of the big buyers out there, and there's the steady stream of people kind of testing. Okay. You know, here's a $200 order. Here's a $149 order. That's another area we set apart, Emil, is we ship free at $149 versus everyone else shipping at $200,
$200 or $199.
Yeah, we just recognize you may not have heard of us, right? And so we want that opportunity. We want that at bat. We want to do a good job for you. The big buyers are in. We do offer buybacks. You guys would be shocked how much metal is coming back into that customers are selling back, and then on going out the door, you have potentially these big buyers. We don't ask people why they're selling, but a lot of times they offer it, and it's, we're getting out of real estate. We feel like the market's crashing in real estate. They're getting out of the market in general. If you guys were paying attention, I think it was the Dow in the last hour took a 600 point dump today. I mean, that could be really scary. And
Yes.
so volatility right now is the name of the game, both in precious metals and in equities. The bond market's been insane. There's a lack of areas for people to really they don't know where to put their money in. So a lot of people are
lack of faith.
Yeah, lack of faith. I mean, look at Warren Buffett, right? Look at his cash position.
I know.
Everyone talks about
Is
Buffett.
$1 trillion basically. Call it $1 trillion.
Yep.
Is what this guy's walking around with in his pockets.
Yeah. When this guy gets out of the market, I mean, I think you need to pay attention.
And what is he? He's 93 or 94 years old.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
He's just waiting.
He still has time.
Well, that's just it. And his whole life he's been about making money, and right now he don't want to lose it. So as soon as he sees it dump, I mean, he's gonna put it all right back in. It's just a win is all.
Yep. So I would say the volatility in the market is paired kind of with, or we see that volatility. We'll have days where we're just kind of like just going along. This is our run rate. And then boom, we'll have a day where we're 4, 5, 6x our relative recent volume. Yeah. Okay. And so to answer your question, Emil, I mean, we're keeping up, we're hustling. And so in those normal days, that's not a big deal. We get everything shipped out, but when the team needs to get called on, we're here, we're shipping incredibly fast. I have seen a few other sites post messages about delayed shipping, and man, I mean, I guess that would be a good problem as a seller, but I would hate to put that on the customers. So we're committed to getting stuff out quick for sure.
That's awesome.
Great. Yeah, that's great. What? Oh, it was just in my head. Oh, your team. You keep saying the team. Yeah. How many team members are there part of Hero Bullion?
Yeah. That's a good question. I don't know the actual answer. It's somewhere 16, 18 people.
That's not bad.
Like that. So, we're not triple digit head count. But man, I have a ton of faith in this group here. A lot of really hardworking, committed people. So
is that are you just online based then, or do you have a shop where people can walk in and see somebody face to face as well?
No, back in 2006, we did have a shop. And it's a whole nother animal. It's a completely different type of business, right? Because the time required, the talent and the skill and the knowledge base that's required to run a shop. I respect those guys. You guys had, I think it was it Bob Campbell was on?
Yeah.
And he's ran a shop. He's ran a shop for 35, 40, 50. I don't know how long it's been.
A long time.
Honestly, that's hard. We have set up at coin shows, and we're gonna grow that presence to get the face-to-face interaction. But as far as walking in, no, it's strictly online. We do have a wholesale program for dealers out there, and that surprisingly the wholesale program is growing really quickly. So there just lets me know there's a lot of wholesalers or maybe smaller dealers who can't trade with the major, the mint direct people because they're not buying in those quantities. We're servicing those guys as well.
Gotcha.
And yes, but it's strictly online.
Now, you've been working, you said, in this field since 96. Was that right?
Yeah, 97, somewhere in there. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
I'm
with your expertise,
I'm not trying to date myself here.
No, you're good. I'm just trying to maybe put out your credentials as far as your expertise in this market. Mm-hmm. What factors do you think have contributed to this uptick, these new highs that we're seeing in gold?
Oh man, I look back to like sovereign consumption of gold, or their investment there. It has kind of tailed off, but we've seen tremendous purchasing of gold by these sovereign nations, right? China in particular. We look at India. India's retail demand is just incredible, right? We all know this.
Now they wear it all. That's why they're covered in gold.
The women, the
women,
Indian women. It's not the men in particular. I mean, I honestly, I don't get a lot into like the technical analysis. Yeah, I think as long as I've been around, the fundamentals haven't changed. We're in a fiat currency system, right? We know what happens. We know there's a 2% tax on us every single year that we don't necessarily agree to, but we're born into. And so, yeah, I mean, for me, it's just a matter of when. It's not if. When. One thing I will say, and one place I kind of go to war with is what I deem the pumpers, the guys who are consistently calling for triple digit silver. While it might make your stack look really impressive, there's a lot of pain that comes with that, with triple digit silver. And so, bullion as I see it is an insurance policy, so to speak. If in that you're trying to store value somewhere and maintain your purchasing power, right? So it's been in the news a ton lately. Here's what groceries cost you in 2019 or 2020 versus here's what they cost now. And it's shocking. I don't think until you see it in discrete numbers, it's shocking without seeing that, because we've all felt that creep, right? We've felt that inflation, like we're experiencing inflation right now, right? Despite what the numbers say or the reports. I mean, we just last week or the week before, the jobs numbers snafu was revealed. 818,000 jobs were overreported. So I don't have a lot of confidence in what they post as the inflation numbers. I know what it feels like as a homeowner and a dad and trying to accomplish all the things that we try to do as providers. It's becoming more difficult for America in general. So,
right on. Yeah. So with that current pricing, do you believe that's sustainable? This 2,500 ish, or do you foresee maybe a correction or maybe even?
Really, what I'm looking out for is something similar to this liquidation event, or what I would consider a liquidation event that happened in March of 2020. Is there any reason silver should have been $13 an ounce? Well, yes, because naked shorts. They had to be covered, right? Or these positions had to be covered. They needed cash. They needed to dump their long positions to free up cash to cover their losses elsewhere, right? And so I think we're going to experience something like that again. The problem is in timing the market in this way. You don't have to look back very far to see what happens when spot drops like incredibly quickly. Premiums just rebound, or premiums explode, let's say. I kind of feel sheepish in saying this, but I've paid $13. I want to say $13.25 over spot per ounce for a Silver Eagle wholesale. Okay.
That's nuts. That is nuts.
I mean, that's when silver was in the low 20s and Silver Eagle was going for $35 to $40.
I remember doing videos when it was 100% plus premium on Silver Eagles.
So we see what happens.
This is just last year.
If you're seriously waiting for teens in silver, and I'll put it out there. I'm definitely I'm a bigger fan of silver. I kind of have been my whole life, but in particular right now, we publish on our website the gold to silver ratio. It's nearly 90. Yeah. Okay. So when I ask myself, what's more likely to happen, $5,000 gold or $56 silver? And I say silver. Right. And so that's where I'm putting my money right now. Obviously, you're more than welcome to do whatever you want with your own money. But I think if you're trying to time this market and we say, okay, well, as soon as it hits 18, I'm in, right? I think that can be a problem. And Paulie, I love that you speak out against this buy the dip, right? Like you're preaching, I watch it. You're preaching that like consistent, regular
dollar cost averaging.
Yeah, DCA, right?
That's where you have to be. I mean, with anything like, I'm into Apple stock a lot, and this is completely different than precious metals, right? Mm-hmm. But it's not that I watch it, but I consistently buy it every single week and have been doing it for a very long time. And I was really happy just a few days ago, and then today down it went again. But It's
I'm
okay
laughing because we just talked about Warren Buffett, and
Yeah.
he just dumped a bunch of Apple last week.
I know. And it is what it is. It's one I like. It's just like silver and gold. I like silver and I like gold. So I'm consistently buying no matter what somebody says on the internet about buying the dip or backing the truck up. That is where you get people calling guys like you on the phone asking, are you buying silver and gold today? Because why? I bought way too much and I can't make these payments. Or, man, they told me on Instagram I had to buy and I maxed out my credit cards. Well, now I can't make the damn payment. And they're going to hit me with 18 or 26% interest.
Yeah.
This is where people get into trouble. Yeah. And they shouldn't. You shouldn't put yourself into debt stacking precious metals. And that's something that should be drilled into everybody's head every single day, but it's not.
Yeah. I think that's definitely sound advice. Like don't leverage everything you have to get into precious metals. It's one of those alsos. You know, it's if your house is in order, go ahead.
Yes,
Make that a part of putting your house in order, but take care of those, you know, things that we were all hopefully coached when we were younger to avoid, you know, the credit card debt, other debts as well.
Learn to balance your checkbook first.
Yeah.
That's what, I mean, you know, that's what a lot of even teens right now in high school, they need to learn how to balance a checkbook instead of looking at a receipt because they keep swiping that debit card and or tapping phones and using Apple Pay and Venmo and whatever else, which it's all good. It's all great stuff, but you got to know how to use it and you got to know how to keep track of it. You got to be responsible.
Right. And so I guess to piggyback on that, where my mind goes is like, look, we all have a responsibility, right, to take care of this younger generation, to coach them, to be there. I mean, the world needs leadership. Your neighborhood needs leadership. Your school needs leadership. And so a lot of what the stacking community is now, I mean, I'm definitely biased, right? But a lot of the people I interact with are people I would be friends with outside of the hobby or outside of any type of transaction, because we have a lot in common, right?
Yeah.
And it's a charge for us. We got to take care of this country.
You picked up on my accent, and all of a sudden we started having a conversation about hunting deer. You know, that was cool.
I have a deer over here.
Yeah, I got one over here.
Yeah, we get to show off our trophies now. There you go. Yeah, you did European mount. That's European mount, just like mine.
Yeah. I actually shot a deer big enough, I thought, last year, and I showed you the pictures. I sent you the pictures.
Oh, yeah.
That's actually getting shoulder mounted, but
nice.
It takes the guy forever, and I've never had one done, so I decided I was going to
good.
do that.
I'm glad you're able
with
to do that
the
for
blessing from the wife.
So major coin in that, man.
Oh well, yeah, it's about $800.
Yeah,
wow.
So is what it is.
It's worth it. It is worth it. She doesn't even know that part.
I sure hope so.
Yeah. Jake, question. So let's say I'm just scrolling through YouTube, looking at, let's say I'm one of them young guys, looking at my crypto, looking at all these videos about, you know, housing market, all that stuff. And I come across precious metals for the first time. Mm-hmm. And I'm just learning about it. And I'm trying to weigh out the difference, the benefits of paper market versus physical, right? Ease of transaction, no premiums. How could you advocate for physical against that?
Well, so one of the things I've always loved about physical precious metals is what a lot of people see as a weakness is the work that it essentially takes to liquidate it, right? You have to ship it somewhere. You have to meet face to face someone. You have to drive it and you have to store it and all those kinds of things. But I see that as an advantage because it can, you know, we're in a right now world. I want it right now. I don't want to wait for it. And so I think one of the benefits of precious metals is the fact that it isn't immediately, you know, in my account on my phone here now, you know. I can't just click a button and it go away. I have to think about it. I have to be really calculated about what I want to do with this. Right. when it comes to the physical precious metals, there's also, plenty of risk, right? It's a physical item that can be taken from you. And so that's something that you have to shore up any types of weaknesses that you have in terms of your vulnerabilities. You guys spoke about Reddit earlier. There was a Redditor today. I saw an article on Reddit. I go on Reddit occasionally, and someone's safe had gotten broken into, and they were kind of, complaining about it, kind of venting.
I think somebody said they had 1 ounce of silver left, back to 1 ounce of silver.
Yeah,
or something like that.
That was the post, right? And so we have to take that into effect. So you asked me about the positives. I immediately pointed out the negatives. One that's a negative that could be a positive: the fact that you can't liquidate it right now. Physical precious metals, though, it's for me, it's about legacy. It's about passing on. It's the type of thing that there's almost always going to be a cost. But if the grid goes down, I mean, I would imagine that you guys, just like myself, have kind of had this threat in the back of what if the grid goes down? Okay. Sure. Yeah. What do we do if the grid goes down? And I mean, is that a possibility? Are we all tinfoil hat wearing guys here saying, man, if the grid goes down, what do we do? Right. Well, I think it's definitely a possibility, at least, short term in regional areas, something, a scenario like that happening. I also advocate for other things like, personal food storage, or, just preparedness in general. That was one of the things that we did at Provident Metals, is we sold a lot of long-term food storage. That was part of the catalog. And it was just part of what we believed in there. Besides all of that, there's definitely an opportunity for, we talked about premiums, right? Let's say silver goes down to $12. There is that detachment. Paper silver over here, physical silver over here, the prices detach. And the paper silver, yes, it's a basis for what we sell precious metals physically at, right? But the premium, it acts as essentially a buffer. It's a built-in buffer. Right now, little insider kind of numbers, if you will, I can get 90% silver coins at flat, or maybe 25 cents over spot per ounce, right? And so you'll see them on the website, $1.25, $1.50 over spot, something like that. In these crazy periods that we're paying $6.5, $7, $7.50 over spot for that 90% silver. Why? Because you can't get it. People can't get it. They want it. They want something that they can hold in their hands. They want something because they can imagine a scenario where we don't have our iPhones, where we don't have internet, where we don't have instant access to cash, right? And so, I mean, this is a physical world we live in, guys. Despite all the digital, all the information, all the technology, people still need to eat. They need to drink water. We need physical things.
So with that in mind, silver goes to 65. Do you see people buying it at 65, or would they be having to sell it just a hair under to offload it? Would there be buyers?
They're going to have to sell it way back at $65, I would say. Okay. If you're holding silver, you don't want to hear that, right? Yeah. But I'm just going to tell you the truth, because it's a market. How does a market operate? Supply and demand. Okay. Ultimately, I don't know what the estimate is for the bullion market. And when I say the bullion market, I mean, I call it like retail. You, me transacting, the average American. I'm not talking about institutional demand, but it's, let's say it's north of $5 billion annually, right? A few years ago, I saw a number that was like 4.2. It's got to be 5, 6, 7, maybe 8. I don't know. You can glean some of that through schedules that publicly traded companies in the space put out, and kind of do your own math and say, okay, well, you could estimate it maybe in relative ease. But compared to other markets, it's actually a very small market globally. It's a pretty small market when we're talking about consumer quality precious metals. We're not talking about bank transfers and things like that. And so that being said, it's subject to just this volatility making the pendulum swing the other way. This summer, there were definitely days, and I'm talking as near back as 30, 45 days ago, when we purchased more bullion than we sold. And I would have never have guessed that. Okay. So imagine, and that was just $32 silver, right?
I was gonna say it had been around $30, $32.
Yeah. And so people are hesitant. People are looking to buy the dip. They're waiting for it to be where they're comfortable with it. I'd hate to put a number on it. If silver was $65, I would imagine dealer to dealer, there is definitely a floor. Okay. In our industry, we call it cooking it. Okay. So you just refine it and you turn it into grain. Okay. Because there's a market for grain that's going to be very, very close at the very least to what spot price is. Maybe grain trades at a little bit of a discount if there gets to be enough of it out there. But I could see it trading multiple dollars back. You can find today bids from online resellers that are $2, $3, $4 back a spot on bullion. Wow. And the reason that they are there is because they're buying too much, even today.
That's wild.
Yeah.
It is wild.
Now you have options, and that's why you have options like you have your local coin store. Man, I always advocate for forming that relationship. Number one, it can be a really cool relationship, especially if you have a good coin store owner locally. They can provide you a ton of value somewhere locally where you can go and get cash or loan or, whatever kind of relationship you want to work out with these guys. Right. I always advocate for that. And building these relationships and community, go to coin shows, right? See what's out there locally. Really, kind of build a community around yourself with those that are like-minded. And the hobby is going to be really enjoyable. I call it a hobby. It's kind of, it's definitely more than that, particularly for myself and for you all. I mean, you guys have a YouTube channel about this hobby. Maybe it's more of a lifestyle, right?
It's definitely fun. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had fun. Jake, what's the next big thing for Hero?
Oh boy. We have a lot of stuff going on. Okay. So I've looked in the past, over the years, I've been looking at, how the big guys are serving people and how we're always looking to differentiate, right? Because we sell all the same products. The easy answer is, in the last 12 months, we've more than doubled our inventory, right? And so that's just access to bullion. And the goal in the next 3 to 6 months is to 5x that. Okay. And that's just through trade relationships that we have, through sourcing relationships. We've had a lot of mints as we've grown, reached out to us to have direct relationships. So the way that our industry works is you have your mints and your refiners, right? And they have some pretty stringent KYC that they have to complete to start dealing with people, right? And so they deal with what we call in our industry the majors. Those are the mint direct companies. Okay, you guys have heard a lot of these names. You have A-Mark on the left coast, right? Here in DFW, we have Dill & Gage, which is a huge company here. On the East Coast, you have CNT Coins and things. And so these companies are in direct contact with many of these sovereign mints in particular. The sovereign mints are a little bit harder, nut to crack to get direct access to them. But they act as the distribution channel for those sovereign mints throughout the world, right? And there are analogs all over the world, analogs to what our majors are. And so we deal with them. On the private side, as we've grown, some of the private mints have reached out to us directly. Polly, you and I have a lot in common. You love Germania Mint. I love Germania. Yeah. They're one of my favorites. Sure. I love working with them. I love just what they're about. And so we've been direct with Germania. There was one of the first ones I pursued. There you go. They were one of the first ones I pursued years ago.
You need ink pen.
Yeah, there you go. So I see you get stuff before I do. And that kind of like, give me some of that, right?
That's what's fun about it.
Yeah, that is cool. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you in that aspect. So yes, the goal is we see the demand. We moved into this new facility. We have over 12,000 square feet now in our facility. Great infrastructure here to get a ton of orders out the door and just serve at the highest level. I mean, that's the big thing for us. Now, the one thing we've asked about a lot, and I hope to be able to work here, is we've had so many people ask us for affiliate links, and it's something that's relatively, I don't have a ton of experience in. I do have some help on it, so we are bringing affiliate out. I don't want to give too much away,
Sure.
but yeah, we're affiliates on the schedule for us very soon, because we get asked that constantly. Do you have affiliate links? Is there a way for me to, I've really enjoyed my experience with you. Like I said, we have 18,000 reviews and a 4.9 rating. So
Sure.
Obviously we're doing something right.
Sure. What is your top seller? What is something that is constantly being ordered from that site?
Oh man. Okay. So I'll give you, like, over the course of the company, we have a Don't Tread on Me 1 ounce silver round.
Okay.
Have you seen it?
I have.
Okay. So I'll tell you the story behind this. This 1 ounce silver round, the Don't Tread on Me 1 ounce silver round, was actually designed and sculpted by Tom Rogers, who's a former chief engraver at the U.S. Mint. Okay. And that was done in the Provident days, and it's still in production today. People love that design. And so it's like right now it's up on our slider. We stock a ton of those. We blow through a ton of those on the silver side. I will say, I don't want anything to get suppressed, so I'm going to be careful with how I talk. But recently, a lot of President T stuff has been flying off the shelves.
I've been hearing that a lot. Even scrolling through Instagram a lot, you hear anything that's got anything to do with him
it's hot.
is not sticking around.
Yep. So we just released a line of products with his likeness on it, both in copper and silver. The copper stuff's novelty. The silver stuff is for stacking. But it's also the subject matter. And so people ask for it. They want it. There's been obviously everything that's gone on around him recently. There've been a ton of products that have come out to kind of commemorate what was July 13th. And all that. And so that stuff recent times has been incredibly, incredibly popular. I mean, it's when I call these mints who are making some of these, they're 3-4 weeks out, and I'm just it's shocking the support behind it, right? Because I see it as support. Yeah, people love silver, but they also support his message, right?
Yep. Oh, 100%. That's
very cool.
Stuff.
Awesome.
Well, what do you think?
That was great. That was great. Can we bring you back on the show?
Yeah. So, a big part of us moving into this new facility is I have a studio now. I have a studio that's
what I wanted to mention is this. You don't see it very often, but the one behind the company who's sitting right here in front of us, you do a lot, if not all, of the stuff I see on Instagram, where a lot of times somebody would hire that out and put a let's just say attractive woman talking about the bullion on there, where it's you. No, I didn't want to come off that way. No, what I mean is you're actually still doing the work, which is really cool to see. If you're not following Hero Bullion on Instagram, definitely give it a look out there, because I always see your stuff and it's always informational, top-notch stuff. Yeah, it's edited, well spoken, all of it.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. I'll make sure the guys here, but it is a way that we differentiate. You asked that earlier. I mean, I don't think there are many other companies where you see the person or the people behind the company putting themselves out there. And so, yeah, I mean, it's a big, like, I'm not just saying that we have a responsibility. Like, I see it as my responsibility to make this happen too, for people and educate people. There's been a lot of fun stuff. I've learned a lot through it because there's a ton of research. As you guys know, when you're doing a YouTube video, there's a ton of research that goes into this stuff and a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes to really deliver a good, clear message. And so for me, it's been a lot of fun. We have more of it coming. Like I said, we have a studio that's under construction right now. We're just in this new spot for about 4 months. And so number one, take care of the people who have spent money with us, get that down. So we're getting orders out incredibly fast, which thankfully we never missed a beat there. But on the other side, it's okay. Now, let's start getting the content out there. So
Very
That's
cool.
good.
Appreciate that.
Very cool. And it's novel. That's new. Not a lot of people are doing that. So
I hope we see more of it. Honestly,
Yeah.
I really do. I hope we see more of it. And, you know, this industry is super competitive, but I mean, there are plenty of people in this market to go around. And honestly, we're trying to attract the people that resonate with our message. You know, you may resonate with someone else's message, and yes, go form a relationship with them.
Exactly. And it's just like on YouTube, you know, they say, oh, you're, you know, a bigger fish in a really small pond. You can make the pond bigger, and, you know, sky's the limit. Just make more pies, right?
Yep,
That's
Out-
it.
exactly.
out from
I
anyone
love it.
else's pies.
It's a huge space. That's what it
Yeah.
is.
Very cool.
But yeah, I'll be back. I'll be back if you guys want me back. I mean, something crazy happens, you know, feel free to reach out.
Oh yeah, you bet.
We'll be on it.
When something crazy happens.
Man, that's right.
We got time. We got nothing but time.
Well, Jake, we appreciate it, man. And like all your information will be in the description below in this video, whether it's your website or whether it's your Instagram.
Affiliate link. Or,
Yeah.
Maybe next time.
Shoot. But all right. Hey, we appreciate it. And thanks again.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Husky.
Yo.
Great show, brother.
Yeah, man. See you Friday.
Good one. I'll see you Friday.